bow our heads. Heavenly Father, thank you for last night's laying down and this early morning rising, Lord. Lord, continue to bless this fiscal court across the board, Lord. Continue enabling us to be able to make the rightful decisions for all the citizens of this community, Lord. And continue to bless all the city personnel also. Lord, continue to bless all the ones from the national level, from all the way down to the local, Lord. Bless our first responders. Bless our military that's training for this United States, Lord. The rest person minor. Continue to bless our community people, Lord, from the city to the county. Lord, just continue to bless everyone, Lord. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We're glad to have with us today some guests from the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, District 3, Mr. Casey Pettigo, Joe Plunk, and Justin Young. And they dropped us off some papers here and have a presentation of the fiscal year 21-22 Rural Secondary Road Program. So which one of you gentlemen want to take the mic and share with us what's happening?
I'll go ahead. My name is Justin Young. I'm a transportation engineering branch manager there in Bowling Green in District 3. I want to take a chance to introduce the guys here again. Casey Pettigo, he's one of the transportation engineering supervisors, and he's in the Scottsville section. And this is also Joe Plunk. He is our chief district engineer in District 3. So these guys can answer any questions you all have. All right, we are here to present the Simpson County 2021 and 2022 fiscal year rural secondary program. And looking at the sheet here, the fiscal year 21-22 projected allotment is $828,106. The fiscal year 2021 free balance carryover from last year is $123,867. And so you add those up and the total funds available is $951,973. So item number one there is routine maintenance and traffic on the 95.57 miles of rural secondary roads in Simpson County. And that totals to $347,800. And that's approximately 42% of the initial projected allotment. Item number two, across the board for every county in Kentucky, is the county judge expenses at $2,584. The next two items are projects that we selected. Casey and I rode these two routes and selected these. These are being our most critical needs at this point. And so item number three is repair drainage, fix base failures, and place 1 inch of asphalt resurfacing on 2.34 miles of Kentucky 664, that's Sulphur Spring Church Road, from the pavement joint east of intersection with Kentucky 665 to the intersection with Sulphur Creek Bridge. That estimated amount is $230,117. And on the back, you'll see a map that designates these two projects, where they're located. So moving on to item number four, repair drainage, fix base failures, and place 1 inch of asphalt on 1.779 miles of Kentucky 622, that's Hickory Flat Gold City Road, from pavement joint 250 feet north of the intersection with 100 to the pavement joint 0.31 miles north of Reeves Road. That total is $205,852. The next item, the last item, is up to the court to decide what you all would like to do with your flex funds. But the flex funds for the projects, which is 20% of that initial distribution is $165,621. So we don't need you to vote on anything or approve it. We just need you to add us into your minutes that we were here presenting. So, do y'all have any questions on these projects? I would like to mention a few more, and Joe may want to talk about this one.
I don't necessarily have any question on these projects, but I know our number one call, and of course, I've talked with Joe several times, is Highway 585.
Yeah, so we have received several complaints as well, and right now we have a contract with Scotty's to do that work. Within, I think, the next 90 days, they have to do that work, so.
Do you know if are they going to just pay that, or that really needs to have that taken all the way down to the base, and the base built
Yeah,
up?
what they're gonna do is make a base failure repair, and then patch the whole thing on top of it, so.
Okay.
So they'll middle down, like, 8 inches or so, put back actual base, asphalt base in there, and then surface on top of it.
Okay. All right. And I mentioned it every time I come through, I'll mention it again. This curve right here, at 100 and 31, or 1008 and 31W, $500. If you turn right there, you can look at that curve and see how much the trucks that turn there are tearing it up. It has run numerous amounts of tires and wheels where there's not enough area for the trucks to swing. And with the car sitting here and you try to turn, you're going to get another tire on that, and it happens often. So that needs to be pulled back 6, 8, 10 foot where trucks can actually turn, because that's a truck bypass. But you're making it where it's damaging the trucks when they turn. So that's that. I mean, I've mentioned it. I say something about it every time, and I'll continue to say something about it because it needs to be pulled back. And I know at one time they said they made it so the sidewalk was dipped where the trucks could go on it. But to have a sidewalk people are supposed to walk on, but fixing it where trucks can drive on it too doesn't seem to me like to be a real good combination. So I think that's one thing that needs to be looked at too.
Gentlemen, any other questions?
All right, I'll take just a moment to talk about a couple of the other projects that we have going. These are not in the rural secondary program from this year, but what was presented last year on the rural secondary program was Kentucky 1171, that's Blackjack Road. That was let out in December of last year, and the contractor, Scotty's, has till the end of November to complete that. The next one is in our FDO5 program, and it's Kentucky 100, and that's Scottsville Road. And it is in the April letting, so we don't know who the contractor is yet. And also West Madison Street, that is Kentucky 383. That's also in the April letting. There is a bridge project we have coming up on Sulphur Springs Church Road. That's over Sulphur Springs Creek. And that was let in March and has to be done by July of 2022. So the contractor has quite a while to do that one. So that's all I have here. Anybody else have any questions, or Joe, do you want to mention anything?
Only, it's not in our county, but there's a lot of people that use it on 585 in Allen County where you're taking the bridge out. When is the estimated date to complete that, do you know?
Yeah, so I was actually out there yesterday. The contractor just started. Of course, it's very dependent upon the water level. But the contractor has 60 working days to complete that. So we count working days as can they actually work in the creek. It floods the whole area.
I understand.
So it's really dependent upon the weather.
That's only 9 miles from, Gold City Store, and that's right in my area.
Right.
And I've had several ask me about that, so it should be done in 60 days, is that what you're saying?
Well, 60 working days.
Okay.
So, that doesn't count the weekends or any weather.
I understand.
Bobby, do you have any questions or comments about Bobby over here probably knows the road system in Simpson County better than any of us sitting behind this desk, as far as that part goes. Not saying better than you guys, but better than us guys. Any other questions, gentlemen?
No.
All right, thank you for putting us first on your agenda. We're going to excuse ourselves.
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all presenting this, and y'all have a good day.
All right.
Good to see you. All right, gentlemen, moving on. If you had a minute to review the minutes of our March 16th regular court meeting, we need a motion and a second to approve those minutes.
Motion made.
A motion by Nate,
Second.
second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. This list was pretty long today, doesn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. I think we can make it through it though. Next, gentlemen, is to review and approve Resolution 2021-04-06 KOHS-radio, and this is a resolution authorizing communication equipment grant for up to $30,000 in radio equipment for the sheriff's office, and we would need to approve that resolution and authorize the judge to sign it to submit this grant.
So much.
Motion by Marty, second by Scott. Any other question or comment? All in favor, aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is to review and approve Resolution 2021-04-06 KOHS-BEST, and this is authorizing a sheriff's grant of $10,880, which would cover the cost of 12 vests. And again, we would need a motion and a second to authorize this resolution and the judge to sign that resolution.
Motion made.
I have Nate, motion by Nate, second by Scott. Any question or discussion on that? All in favor, aye? Aye. Aye. Any opposed?
I'm sorry, who was the second?
Scott.
Thank you.
All right, if y'all remember, gentlemen, we discussed this at our last meeting, and the Drug Task Force Board was going to meet, in which they did, and the Drug Task Force Board, and we have Jackie Hunt with us, the Director of the Drug Task Force, and so if we have questions or comments or concerns, I'm glad you're here today, so we'll field them right to you. But the board, and I think I'm right when I say this, voted unanimously to move the headquarters of the Drug Task Force to Simpson County. Not that this means a whole lot, but the Drug Task Force Board also voted unanimously to name me as the chairman of that board. Judge Chick is stepping down, and I guess the board felt like if we were going to operate here, that made sense. Jackie didn't get to vote on that, or he might have voted no. I don't know. He's laughing. I don't know if that's a good laugh or a bad laugh. But anyway, what we need now is a motion and a second to approve Simpson County as the host county for the South Central Kentucky Drug Task Force. And what that means to us in particular is we're providing a space for the Drug Task Force to have their headquarter office here. And also, as you've seen in our budget preparation meeting last week, the Drug Task Force funding will run through the court, but it will be actually zero cost to the court over and above what our typical contribution to the Drug Task Force would be. Our finance people, the county treasurer, and our finance officer both say that doing the POs and tracking it through there will be minimal work to them. So, but we do need a motion and a second to authorize Simpson County to be the host for the Drug Task Force.
Motion made.
Motion by Nate.
Second.
Second. Mine, was that you, Mine?
Yeah.
Second. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Well, Jackie, you're here now, so.
Well, like I said, I appreciate it. I've got a long history with Simpson County. I know some of you, some of them I don't know well, but I get to know you. Like I said, we've been in this community for years. We're giving Simpson County a chance to host us, like I said, which I got a long, standing relationship with Simpson County anyway, so as always, you need anything from us, you give me a call. You can call me, write my cell phone down, 270-791-9760.
I should have warned you, this is going out live on Facebook.
Everybody's got my number, but, I mean, it's good. I mean, you can call me and if I don't answer, I'll return your call and we'll try to see about your problem. Thank you.
Well, I just want to say I appreciate what you guys do. It's a much needed job. Unfortunately, it's a much needed job. And by all accounts, y'all do a great job. We appreciate you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks.
All right, next, gentleman, would be to review and approve the 2021 Kentucky Waste Tire Management Program Agreement. And I think I have to sign that, so as part of the motion, we need to authorize the judge to sign that agreement. And I think, if Bobby, am I right, the dates would be June 10th, 11th, and 12th, and for the public dropping off, it would be at the county barn. And this is kind of what we would refer to maybe as Tire Amnesty Day. So if you've got a pile of old tires laying around that you have the trash man won't throw them in the trash truck when he comes by, you can drop them off June 10th, 11th, and 12th at the county barn. But we need a motion and a second to enter into this agreement and authorize the judge to sign the agreement. Got a motion by Scott, second by Marty. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, would be to authorize for advertisement of the fiscal year 21-22 asphalt bids. And this would be for supplying asphalt to Simpson County and the city of Franklin. If y'all remember, we entered into an interlocal agreement through the remainder of all of our current terms that we would bid the asphalt literally countywide for whatever our bid price would be honored for the city's paving also.
So moved, Mason.
All right, got a motion by Myron, second by Nate. Any question or discussion, or Bobby, is there anything that you would like to add or need to add to that?
We probably need to get in toward the next month, but this gives us time to
So if you're listening, what Bobby's saying, we may not get the bids till toward the end of next month. He just needs the authorization to advertise the bids, or advertise for bids. Well, I think we had a motion in a second. We had Myron and Nate already. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Next motion is very similar, gentlemen. It's just that we need a motion to authorize advertising for fiscal year 21-22 crushed stone bids.
So moved.
Motion by Nate, second by Scott. Any question or discussion on that? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next, gentlemen, is to authorize the date of May the 18th of 2021, which will be our second regularly scheduled meeting of May, and publish the notice of public hearing regarding the use of the local government economic assistance and the county road aid funds. And we just have to authorize that date, and what we will do, we will hold that public hearing at the beginning of our regular meeting, but we have to authorize it and advertise it. Authorize and advertise, but I also have to have a motion and a second to do so. Got a motion by Scott?
Second.
Second by Nate. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Told y'all we're clipping through it fairly good. Bobby, I probably will need you on this next one, I think. This is to discuss the public works review, discuss or approve public works equipment purchase.
Yeah,
this wasn't a budget item for this year, but Nicole and I have kind of scratched through the budget, current budget, and we've pulled up enough money that we think we're comfortable moving some money into equipment from about 6 other lines to at least purchase 2 bush hogs for mowing. Like to have 4, but we'll take what we can get while we got the money to do it. So it'd be off state contract, wouldn't have to be bid. It's the same brands we're using, the same company. We've had good luck with them, but ones we have are 8 years old, and we're pretty abusive on them. It's down to the point where every go around, we're doing a lot of rebuilding and maintenance.
And for clarification, for people that may be watching that maybe didn't fully follow what you were saying, we're not talking about putting another infusion of cash into the fund. It's just moving line item funding.
Transfers from what's in other items that we're gonna have some surplus with, and we're just moving to where we can use them during the current. I've been told if we do a PO within the next week, they've pretty much told me they'll have them the first week.
And the cost of the 2 bush hogs would be how much?
$30,313 for both of them.
$30,313.
Bobby, will you be retiring the 2 you're replacing?
At some point, we always keep 1 or 2 extras to rob parts off of, and the condition they're in now may take 3 of them to keep, or 4 of them to keep the other 2 old ones running, so, but eventually we will.
Okay.
So the motion would be to authorize the Public Works Department to purchase the 2 bush hogs at a cost of $30,313 for the pair.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Myron. Any other question or discussion?
Who made the motion?
Marty made the motion, and Myron with the second. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, this is something that I guess we do every year. I know we've done it every year since I've been here, and that is to review and approve a resolution 2021-04-06 EMP-PW, and that is an employee resolution to hire a seasonal public works worker. And do I have to sign this resolution also? I don't think I have to sign employee resolutions. We just vote to do it and hire these seasonal employees. And I don't know if you looked at it, but there's a different name plugged in. Our normal seasonal guy, he bowed out. So, the one that's been doing it, I think.
But the one on here has been working for the road.
Yes.
Public Works.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is right. Typically, we're doing 2 seasonal employees. That is correct.
Motion made.
Got a motion by Nate to approve this resolution. Second by Scott. Any other questions or discussion? Other than, I guess, if there's anyone out there that's looking for some seasonal work in public works, they can come and see Bobby Groves at the county barn. All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Sam, I think we do this as one, since all 3 of these appointments are the same board, correct? Okay. So next is to review and approve the Tourism Commission appointments. We have 3 positions up. 3 people have agreed to serve. It would be Lynn Call, Ashwani Savari, and Mike Simpson, and it would be 3-year terms, which would expire on March the 17th of 2020. And the new tourism director is good to have these 3 to continue on the board, and they're willing to do so.
Like we're talking about the list, I'll share it. If I had a guy text me this morning, put out his name to serve on the board, so I think it'd be good to have a list. If you all hear anybody that wants to serve on the board, have a list down there in the judge's office, and that way if the camera of opening comes available, people to choose from,
in your day-to-day outings, if you hear somebody that says, hey, I'd be willing to serve, let us know so we can compile a list, because, I mean, there's all time, you know, vacancies, and like Marty said, it's sometimes tough to get people to fill a spot on the board. But we have 3 willing here, we just need a motion and a second to appoint them. Motion by Myers, second by Scott. Any questions or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, next, gentlemen, is stemming from our budget discussion last Thursday, talking about the time frame in which the sheriff could order the vehicles that is plugged into the budget. Obviously, these vehicles will not be paid for until, well, I say obviously, most likely, they will not be paid for or in until after the new fiscal year starts July. But as the county treasurer pointed out, we've got to transfer the money and have it in place in order to even issue the PO to make the order. So this would be to approve the first reading of the fiscal year 2021 budget amendment number 9, ordinance number 220.227. And here again, this is to position that allotted amount for those 3 sheriff vehicles so that we can go ahead and place the order.
Motion made.
Motion by Nate.
Second.
Second by Myron. Any other question or discussion? Pam, on that, we'll need a roll call.
Nathaniel Downey,
Yes.
Myron Thurman,
Yes.
Scott Poston,
Yes.
Marty Chandler,
Yes.
Mason Barnes.
Yes. All right, gentlemen, moving on into the financial business. If you had an opportunity to review the budget transfers, we need a motion and a second to approve those transfers.
So moved.
Motion by Myron,
Second.
second by Nate. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, gentlemen, is to review and approve a cash transfer of $112,610 from the general fund to the jail fund. This is payroll week, correct, Nicole? And payroll is this Friday the 9th. Last month, the Class D money did not arrive until the 9th, so there's no way it's going to be here. But it would have to be here like on the 7th, correct? Or the 8th? Yeah. So, it could, but chances are that it won't be. Now, obviously, gentlemen, we've had this conversation many times already that this puts us over our budgeted amount. Does anyone want to know how much over?
Yeah.
Nicole? 114,544. But in order to make the payroll, we'll have to have the cash there to do so.
So moved.
Motion by Myron. Second. Second by Scott. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? No. That's 1 no. Motion carries. Next is to review and approve the bills and claims. If you had an opportunity, gentlemen, to review those, we'd need a motion and a second to approve those.
Motion moved.
Got a motion by Nate. Second. Second by Scott. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. And finally, gentlemen, if you had an opportunity to review the March 31st, 2021 financial statement, we would need a motion and a second to approve that financial statement pending audit and authorize the judge and the county treasurer to sign it. Motion. Motion by Scott.
Second.
Second by Myron. Any question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, moving on to reports. One thing Pam reminded me to do, and I had forgotten, so thank you very much. At our last meeting, we had talked about the amnesty, the trash amnesty day, and I think I had mentioned that we were looking at dates of the 22nd and 23rd. I was completely off a day. It's the 23rd and 24th. So it'll be that Friday and Saturday, April 23rd and 24th at 8 a.m. You will have to show proof. Major League Baseball may boycott us after this. You will have to show proof that you are a Simpson County resident in order to dump your trash on our trash amnesty day. Some type of ID will be sufficient for that. April 23rd and 24th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Convenience Center on Kenneth Utley Drive. All Simpson County residents are eligible. I do not have the list of items that can't go, but to sum up a few, you can't take paint, you can't take tires, you cannot take batteries. Like demolition from a construction site, you can't take all of that type of thing. I mean, obviously, if you've had a toilet that has played out and you've replaced the toilet and your old toilet's just been sitting in the corner of your garage for the last year because you couldn't toss it in your your curbside thing, you can throw that toilet in the back of your truck, take it and dump it out there today. There's going to be no cost, and we'll get 10 30-yard containers. So, I mean, it'll be quite a bit of stuff that we can dump out those tires. So, try to take advantage of that.
If you have tires, you can save them for June.
Yeah, if you have tires, save them till June 10th, 11th, and 12th, because you can't put the tires in the amnesty day bins. Yeah, it's not household hazard waste stuff. This is just common stuff. I mean, if you got a bed mattress that's been leaned up in your garage and you need to get rid of it, you can throw it away. But no hazardous material whatsoever can be dumped. All the typical household items that you find around the house that's just piled up, and especially you men that are watching, the ones that your wife has fussed at you because you've got a pile of stuff. You can make your wife happy that day by loading up your truck, taking and throwing that stuff away. Do what? That's on the counselor there. I did not say that.
Will it be like a tenant there?
Yes, there will be someone from Scott Waste there both days that will be watching. So, I mean, if you try to sneak a tire in, they're going to say, oh, wait a minute, you got to put the tire back on your truck. Or hold on to it till June, you can take it to the county barn. Another thing, gentlemen, if you've seen on the portal, just want to bring it to your attention that there was a copy of the approved audit report, and I don't think it takes any action. It's just that it was there for information purposes, and I just want to make sure that y'all were able to see that. And then I'll wrap up my report with some information. I was on a call yesterday, a conference call with CAECO, and I think most of the county judges were on that call yesterday. But they were really dealing more yesterday. There's been a lot of talk about the American Recovery Program Act money and how much everyone's getting. Well, first off, for Simpson County, there is no exact determined amount as of yet. And it's still like 45 to 60 days before we may even see any of that money. But the biggest part of the conversation yesterday was on the money the state was going to receive and what they would do with some of that money and how some of that money would help out locally and would be in addition to the direct funding that we would receive. And some of it is the state's going to have $250 million in a matching fund for broadband. So if you've got a broadband initiative and you want to maximize that, if you put $500,000 in and qualify that matching grant, the state's going to put another $500,000 in to it. So you could get, $1 million out of your $500,000. some of the things like that. The state's going to help on some water and wastewater projects. The biggest problem is that we're hearing out of the National Association of Counties that we may not receive the full or exact guidance on what can even really be done with this money until you receive the first check. So, you know, the biggest thing that they all keep warning, and I think is very, very good advice, is don't get in a hurry to do something. You've got till the end of 2024 to figure out how you can best benefit your community with these funds. And so I know there's lots of people with lots of ideas, but what we've got to do first is find out even what the dollar amount is. Number two, what you actually can do with the money. And then number three, how you can best benefit your community by the use of those funds. But here was a big thing from the state, and I think maybe the jailer talked about it some, but they talked about it in a little more detail yesterday, that they're going to the state has set aside $30 million for performance-based and housing of jail funding. Now, the one thing that it will mean will be a $2 a day increase for Class D inmates, retro back to the date in which the governor signed the the state of emergency about the pandemic. And I don't remember what day he signed it. It's like March the 6th or 7th or something. It was early March. So it'll retro back to that date and will run through the date in which he pulls or releases that state of emergency. So that increase will stay on as long as we're under that state of emergency. But so what does that mean here in Simpson County? As we currently sit roughly 400 days in at $2 per day and averaging 185 inmates, it means about $148,000, which, I mean, it goes there in the jail fund. That's a big help toward the 114,000 over the budget that we are. So, I mean, there's going to be some help there. And the jailer can answer more of this than I can. There's going to be an extra $2 per day during that same time period for evidence-based programs that do not require instructors, and then a $10 per day for evidence-based programs that do require an instructor. I don't know which of those programs we have or don't have. Do we have any of the $10 per day programs?
Already in effect, no. I think that actually we do have some of that. I'd have to pull all the, inmates that are in certain classes and who was teaching that class at the time. The $2, yes, across the board.
Okay. So, and I don't know, they didn't say this, Eric, and I don't know if the Jailers Association has reached out to you, but if you could, I would start pulling all of that paperwork on how many inmates you had in what classes. Okay, because I mean, once they allot that money, I mean, I'm sure they're going to. It's not like they're just magically going to hand us a check. They're going to want some proof of participation and.
All of our programs that we run are they're reported to the DOC because for us to have them, we have to meet certain criteria before we can do it.
So I guess the one if you would call it a silver lining too, it's looking like we're going to be in the $300,000 to $400,000 range over on our jail budget. It looks like we're going to get some funding from the state that's going to help deal with that a little bit. One other thing that I thought was really interesting that happened at the end of the legislative session was the election reform bill that calls for polls to be open on the Thursday, Friday, and Saturday prior to election day. So on your Tuesday election day, you'll be able to vote Thursday, Friday, Saturday, And then I guess Tuesday, I don't guess it'll be open Monday, because they just said the Thursday through Saturday prior to Election Day. So you're gonna have more opportunity to get out and vote. And that's all I've got. Myron?
No report.
John? Nothing, Judge. Nate?
No report.
Marty?
I'm just glad to hear they're gonna fix Gold City Road.
Yeah, yeah. In fact, I just had a call on it yesterday. Counselor?
Taxes, they will, last year's taxes are late as of January 1st. As of the 15th, they will become delinquent. You can pay the sheriff's office through that time. At that point, they'll be moved to the county clerk's office, in which case, once they become delinquent, more expenses and penalties and so forth will attach. And here in about 3 months or so, there'll be a tax sale. Please pay before they become delinquent. Save yourself some money. I understand sometimes you're waiting for your taxes, so forth. Please pay before the 15th, because that's fast approach. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Eric, you have anything? Steve, you have anything on the part of the sheriff's office? I don't think there's anyone here from the clerk's office. Carter, anything with planning and zoning? Chief, anything with the fire department? Bobby, anything with the road department? Come on.
This is just information purposes, but, you know, we've talked about the low water crossings, and we've got Kenny Perry Drive shut down today to do maintenance on that bridge today. But I know we've talked, Mason and I talked about this. Scott Waste has put a small building out at the convenience center. Their expense, they've hooked it up, they got the gas, electricity hooked up, and we have talked about tearing that old building down. I don't know if that was discussed here, if it needs to be, but I mean, I have no problem with it. It's been burnt before, it sits in a hole, and they're going to provide dumpsters to put it in, and my guys are going to tear it down. So, just so everybody knows what we're doing out there.
Don't sound kind of like a no-brainer.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Before I go tear something down, I want somebody
But
to.
they're not using the building for anything right now, are they?
They put the little building up there for that purpose, just because of, it sets down the hole, and there's wiring issues. But anyway, I just wanted you to know what was doing. Also is, actually, the numbers they gave you this morning on the flex funding is actually up from what we were using in our budget, so that'll, I think, was it 160?
They give us 165 something.
We were using 144, right, Nicole? So that's okay, but it is up some. But mentioning that, I've always asked you guys, if you have a project on paving that you want to look at this next budget, let me know, because I'm going to start putting those roads together here pretty quick. So if you got something you want done, you might let me know.
That's on y'all.
I told every road in my business.
That's what I was going to say, every road in the north, be fine. Oh, man. And Jackie, I mean, at our meetings, we do department head reports, so you'll be welcome to give a report anytime you'd like. Okay.
Where's the office going to be?
Over in the Bradford building, behind like where the drug court is. There's drug court, and then the jail, and the sheriff has some of the back end of the building. There's a little office space kind of right in the center of the building. So
you'll use the side entrance?
There's a side entrance.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, the drug task force is spending some of their money to revamp it a little bit and get it where it's a usable space. Okay, so next, I know that our maintenance supervisor's got a report. I'm gonna kind of kick it off, gentlemen. You should have a paper that's dated Sky. So, and the reason I know about this is I was copied in on this email. Of course, we're working on getting the jail roof repaired. I mean, we knew there were leaks, and we done a big section last year. We have another section planned to do in this fiscal year budget. And so the roofer was down, and he sent a report back in that, I won't say all, and I won't even say a lot, but some of the moisture that we're seeing on the inside of the building is actually mechanical issues, like HVAC mechanical issues of condensation or other situations. And after Bill talked with him, I think what you see in front of you is just a suggestion that we might want to have a mechanical engineer actually take a look at that, all of that system, and give us a report on exactly why we're having the condensation problems and what's going on with it and what might need to be done to correct it. I mean, obviously there is a cost to it. I mean, it would be out of the general fund to do this. We wouldn't put this on the jail fund to do this report. But you can say more to it than that, Bill.
Well, like Mason has said, this is all come out of the roof situation, and I've got to the point where when I get the calls that we have leaks down there, and I call the roofer guy and say, hey, we're saying we've got leaks down there, and he comes and doesn't find anything. I'm afraid at one point he's going to have to start billing us for the trips that he makes up here to check out the roof. And after the last report, like he said, he said he thought some ductwork was sweating and dripping, and I know they've had some issues down there with, some of the ceiling tiles and stuff. But, so I contacted this engineering firm in Bowling Green. They are really seem to be a top-notch company. They've worked on the Warren County Jail. They've worked on the City Hall Annex building. They've worked in Owensboro. They've done Plano Fire Department, Alberton Fire Department. They've been to Clarksville, Tennessee, and worked on some stuff down there and did some. And if you look on that proposal that I've handed you, this is what their scope of work is going to be. And this is something, guys, if we do this, I feel this is going to be beneficial for not only for me on this roof situation, but it's also going to be a report that I could give to Chad, and Chad and them can plan, any of their things that need to be done to the HVAC systems down there. If they see on this report that they can make corrections, or if they can put in equipment that's going to help them save the electrical and their gas and whatever they're using down there for their heating and cooling, that this would help them. If you notice on this proposal, if you look down at number 2, you'll see the A, B, C, D. And I like where they say where on number C, especially the upgrade as well as insulation, control, and so forth. So he told me they probably take 2 or 3 days and walk the building. They measure everything. They measure duct sizes. They look at the controls. They look at everything. And this will determine, what kind of problems they have, and if any of that is actually, aiding in the roof, the ceiling's getting wet. So we can finally get this where we can separate the cause of the leaks, and we can address them as we separate them when we determine where the actual leaks are. So, like I said, and even if they look at the controls, and they can say, well, we can update some of these controls and maybe save them some money on their utility bills. We can do with that. So I think it's a well spent. It's not cheap. It's $2,000 for that. But they give us a detailed report within 2 weeks after they walk the building and do all their work. Like I said, I just think it's going to be something that's beneficial all the way around for both the roof situation and for Chad and them for future reference. He did tell me that they'd be glad to, after they do it, if we're interested, they could come up with a plan, where we need to address the worst situation, and then we can evolve that into, complete redoing of the system down there to help, all the way around. So I think it's going to be a good thing that we do this. I have a 4-page, all their credentials and everything, if everybody wants to see that. I didn't make a bunch of copies because it's kind of all in color, and I thought if y'all was interested, I'd hand you all a copy and you could read about what they do. They do all kinds of stuff. They do electrical engineering, plumbing engineering, fire protection, and all these other things. But right now, I'm interested in the mechanical engineering part of their team that would come out. So that's where I'm at on that. Of course, it'd be up to y'all to decide if we're going to spend that $2,000 to get. I think it's going to be a good report. That way, we can address everything with the roof, and then Chad and them can move forward with whatever else they need to do down there, and have a plan to get some stuff corrected.
Good idea.
Yeah, need to, all that sweating and all that condensation, that could be black mold, we could cut that off. So, I think it's a good idea. Good cause.
Is that a motion?
It is a motion.
To
I'll make it a motion.
authorize?
Yep.
And I guess, I guess if I'm looking at this report right, the motion would need to be to authorize this engineering firm to do this report and authorize the judge to sign the agreement.
I'll make it a motion.
Myron, second. Any other question or discussion?
Do we need them just to report back to Bill and Bill report back?
They'll get the report back to Bill, and then Bill, and they may come and present the report to the court if we ask them to. I don't know that, but they could
It
get.
says they would meet with the board, but I didn't know if this was going to be something.
If you want them, I'll ask them. If not, I'll make sure that,
I
make
guess
sure
honestly,
everybody gets a
it might
copy.
depend on what that report contains. I mean, if the report is just super simple, we give it to Bill. If there's some complexities to the report, then maybe they do need to come back and just share it with us. So we had Scott with the motion and Myron with the second. Any other question or discussion? All in favor, aye? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries. All right, next, gentlemen, I need to have a motion to enter into executive session based on KRS 61.810, paragraph S, discussions or hearings which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual or employee.
So moved.
Motion by Marty, second by Nate. Any question or discussion on that? If not, all in favor, aye.